just want to say a great big thank you to everybody for coming out today.
Thank you, Jen.
We've had two exciting games so far that ended in a score of a difference between 2 runs. So hopefully we'll continue that going this afternoon.
Now they said high seed. Did you hear that?
Huge thank you to your coaches this year.
Sorry, I didn't.
Not all the teams make it to Big Friday, but they all work hard with the kids. They dedicate their time and efforts, and for that we are greatly appreciative of all your time and efforts that you put forth with these kids. The game today is between the Marlins, which is sponsored by FM Bank, and the Rockies, which is sponsored by the VFW Post 612. A big thanks to our team and our banner sponsors this year. As I said earlier in the day, Fergus Falls supports their youth in so many ways. When you reach out for them for sponsorship, they step up and they really help our youth programs grow. So that we can keep costs and stuff down for all the parents and provide the equipment and the hats and shirts and stuff for our teams. So huge thanks to those guys. Being a little improvision this week, we were supposed to be at Broadway. Since the raccoons and skunks thought they should eat some grubs this week and tear the fields up, we had the park guys get this field up here ready, so we were able to improvise it and move it all up to Grotto. So we want to thank those guys for doing the efforts that they did, getting the park ready to go this week because it was not on the agenda until about Wednesday afternoon late. So, and thanks to everybody for making the accommodations to make things work. I want to say thanks to Peg Access and for Shane Tilkey being here today. Shane Tilkey's doing the announcing of the play-by-play for Peg Access. The games are all being videoed. So you are able to purchase those DVDs through Peg Access. When we send out the final brackets and some pictures and that information out to the teams, we'll put that information in there if you would wish to purchase a DVD. They're great memory keepers for the kids to have in future years. It's always kind of fun when you hear a kid watching their DVD from when they played years ago. So great memory keepers. At this time, I'd like to introduce our teams. We'll start off with our Rockies. Again, they're sponsored by the VFW Post 612. They're coached by Bill Nelson and Craig Ottenbacher. We have Evan Griffey, Waylon Comstock, Griffin Nelson, Harrison Gressrud, Truman Steinbrenner, Charlie Kempfer, Liam Ottenbacher, Alex Nelson, Oliver Blaschow, Jack Duffy, Noah Schultz, and Dawson Noon. Next up we have the Marlins. They are sponsored by FM Bank and they are coached by Dallas Roston and Nick Preston. And we have Vince Larson.
Yeah, Vince.
Milo Rosted.
Hey, Milo.
Kelvin Preston.
Hey, Cal.
Jackson Schneeberger. Jackson Gerner. Elijah Blumberg.
Yeah, you got it.
Bryce Oster. Henrik Gustafson. Liam Erickson. Drake Smith. And Ben Reese. So, wish we both best of luck, and let's play ball. And just a shout out to you parents out in the stands. If anyone's looking to volunteer their time next summer, always looking for volunteer coaches at the minors or the majors level. So if you're looking to coach, maybe even do some umping, get a hold of me. We'd love to talk with you about those opportunities.
Well, I appreciate it. You too. Good luck.
What's the score?
It's still 0-0. I'm waiting for you to go. Oh, God, I was ready to elbow that guy.
And just want to do a shout out to our umpires who had to endure some heat this summer, and it's not quite over for them yet today. So thanks, guys, for all you do.
Okay, we've had the player introductions here for Big Friday. This is the Miners Big Friday Championship game played between the Marlins and the Rockies. And teams made it here today by getting through the bracket play starting way back in July. The Marlins had to beat the Twins in the opening round, and that was a tight game, 10-9. And then they battled the Phillies in the semifinals, and that was another tight game, 11-9. And that got them here to Big Friday, and they are going to be the visitors hitting first here in the top of the first. The Rockies had a first-round bye, so they got to play the winner of the play-in game between the Yankees and the Mets. Yankees shut out the Mets, beat them 12-0 in the Battle of New York there. And then Rockies-Yankees, 9-3, the Yankees prevailed, or excuse me, the Rockies prevailed over the Yankees, getting the Rockies here today at high noon, August 4th, 2023, Big Friday at Grotto Park. You heard that correctly. We are not at Broadway Park this year. The Skunks and the Raccoons, those are not minor league teams. Those are actual varmints that put a little bit of stress on the field over at Broadway Park. So we're here at Grotto, up on the hill here. Beautiful breeze up here on the hill, not as much shade, but I tell you what, if there's a ballpark with chalk and bases, we'll play a game. So here we are for game 3 of the Big Friday Championships. Got the day started here with the T-ball series. Big Friday T-ball games were played here this morning. That's 5- and 6-year-olds. And in that T-ball game, we had a couple of teams playing, the Diamondbacks and the Braves. Excuse me. That's the majors. I got to turn one more page. My apologies. The T-ball, Red Sox and Marlins. And the Marlins prevailed in that one, winning over the Red Sox. And then we just wrapped up our coach pitch, and the game there was the Mariners over the Orioles. And now we are here now with the big minor league playoff 9- and 10-year-olds here. Marlins coming up to bat. Leading off hitter for the Marlins is Kelvin Preston. He's the shortstop for the Marlins. Follows that one straight back to our booth, right on top of that pitch from the pitcher of the Rockies. We'll go through some lineups here in just a minute. Number 3 for the Rockies is pitching left-hander. That's Griffin Nelson. Griffin Nelson missed high on that pitch, so we got a 1-1 count. Nelson with the sunglasses on the hat, stepping in at the probably about a 45-50 foot pitching rubber here. That ball just misses off the outside corner. So Nelson, the left-hander, pitching to his catcher, number 1, Evan Griffey. Nelson pitched that ball. It's just off the end of the bat, and Calvin Preston is retired. 1 unassisted for the first out of the inning. That brings up Jackson Schneeberger. Schneeberger stepping up. He's doing the catching today for the Marlins with 1 out here. Schneeberger offers at that pitch, down the count 1-0. Pitch from Nelson. Looks into his catcher. High leg kick and the delivery. That ball just off to the side. Foul ball. Nearly hits our cameraman here. Quickly down 0-2 in the count to Schneeberger. Griffin Nelson doing the pitching here early for the Rockies. Rockies defense set. 4 outfielders at this level. Ball's a little high. Misses just high. Ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes now to Schneeberger. Schneeberger steps in, kicks a little dirt, and the pitch. Strike 3, right down the middle. Schneeberger caught looking on that one. Quickly 2 outs for the Rockies defense. And as number 2, Milo Rosted, the second baseman, steps up to the plate for the Marlins with 2 outs here in the top half of the first inning. Nelson delivers, pitch, swing and a miss by Rosted, down the count. No balls, 1 strike. Coach Dallas Rosted talking to his player, father-son combo here today. We'll talk a little bit about the coaches and the sponsors here in just a little bit. Give him a little advice, maybe crowd the plate a little bit, because Nelson was working that outside corner. Foul ball, just tipped that one. Count down 0-2, 2 outs. Top of the first. Marlins at the plate. Rockies on defense. The Rockies coming in as the high seed, number 1 seed here in this tournament. We'll talk more about that here in a little bit as well. That pitch is fouled off just out of play down the right field line into our fans in the stands down the first base side, right field side. Ball thrown back in. So Rosted battling up there at the plate, looking for a way to get on. Try to see if he can spark a little bit of offense for the Marlins here in the first inning. These games are a lot different than the T-ball and toss leagues where every batter gets to hit regardless of the number of outs. Here you've got to earn your way on, and defensively you've got to earn your way back into the dugout. And so the Rockies with 2 quick outs here in the top of the first, and the Marlins, Milo Rosted down 2 strikes here in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2-2 now, excuse me. That ball in play, hits the second base side, second baseman fields it, throw over to first, and the catch is made by the Rockies' first baseman. Get a number on that kid, their positions were not listed. That was number 8 for the Rockies, the first baseman, Alex Nelson, making that play. And that's the 3rd out of the inning. We're going to mark that one as a 4-3. 3 quick outs on 3 at-bats, and the Rockies due up to the plate. The Rockies, coached by Bill Nelson and Craig Ottenbacher, are sponsored by VFW Post 612. Special thanks to our sponsor there. And the Marlins, now on defense, sponsored by FM Bank, and a special thanks to FM Bank sponsoring one of our minor league teams this year, and coached by Dallas Rosted and Nick Preston. So we'll talk about the Rockies lineup here. They've got Dawson Noon leading off, followed by Charlie Kempfer. Liam Ottenbacher hitting in the 3 spot. Alex Nelson hitting cleanup today for the Rockies, followed by Griffin Nelson in the 5 hole. Jack Duffy hitting 6th. Waylon Comstock in the 7th spot. Truman Steinbrenner hitting 8th. Number 9 spot is Harrison Grefsrud. 10 spot is Evan Griffey. 11, Noah Schultz. And 12, Oliver Blashill. So that is the lineup for the Rockies here as they step up to the plate here in the bottom of the first. Marlins defensively, Calvin Preston is anchoring the infield at shortstop. Schneeberger's doing the catching behind the plate. Milo Rosted's playing second base. Vince Larson corner over at first. Bryce Oster is doing the pitching here today for the Marlins here in the first inning. Liam Erickson out in left field. Jackson Gerner in center field. Drake Smith is the hot corner at third. And Eli Blumberg over in right field here this afternoon. So the Marlins batting 9. They have 9 players here today. The Rockies with 12. I believe all 12 will hit in order. And the team with the most runs at the end of 6 innings will be crowned the Big Friday Minor League champion. So congratulations to both teams for making this far. And we look forward to action here in the bottom half of the first. Dawson Noon at the plate. Pitch from Oster. High swing, strike 1. Pitch from Oster, looks in, just a little bit outside. 1-1 the count now to Noon.
Eli, ready?
Noon, right-handed batter, steps in, count even at 1 apiece. That pitch just through the infield. That's a single. That ball then skips by the right center fielder and it rolls all the way to the fence. Noon is rounding second. He's on his way to third. He's being sent home by Coach Noon, and there it is. 1 hitter, 1 run.
All right, let's go, guys.
Going to call that a single. And then an error by the right center fielder as the ball went through the wickets, rolling all the way out to the Big Friday runner-up and champion signs. And the speed of Noon, they had no chance of catching up to him once that ball rolled through. Now Charlie Kempfer steps up to the plate. Charlie hitting in the 2 spot. Kempfer, a left-handed batter, facing the right-hander Oster. Oster works the zone, misses just low. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kempfer. The windup and the pitch. High strike out to the right center fielder. That ball is tracked. And the play made by the outfielder number 6 for the Marlins, that's Jackson Gerner. Gerner with the nice play in the outfield. That is an F9 for the first out of the inning, bringing up Liam Ottenbacher. Ottenbacher hitting in the 3 spot. Definitely a opportunity for some offense with your number 3 hitter up the bat here. 1 run in already, 1 out recorded. I'm going to fix that. That was F8. There is no right center fielder. It's just a center fielder. He was in a shift on the first batter. 3 outfielders played by the Marlins. Ottenbacher fouled that one straight back. Bryce Oster, the windup in the pitch. High swinging strike foul by Ottenbacher.
Marlins, ready to go. Here we go. Fight the 1.
2 strikes on Ottenbacher now. He'll be in protect mode, 2-strike approach, I'm sure. Looking for something he can handle here in the first part of the game. Foul ball caught by the catcher. That's a great play by the catcher. You know, that's a tough play for any catcher, and Liam Ottenbacher just fouled that one straight back, and the catcher hung on to it.
Liam, heads up here.
So that goes down as a swinging strikeout in the book for 2 outs. And Alex Nelson at the plate takes ball 1.
Hey, let's get this last one.
Nelson hitting in the cleanup spot, right-handed batter, sporting the red helmet. Stands out today. Jams him on that pitch, gets swinging strike 1, evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike. Oster fills the zone with strikes. Works a good mix of locations. That ball just off the outside corner, 2 balls, 1 strike to the batter Nelson, with Griffin Nelson waiting on deck. 5-ball line drive. Alex Nelson over shortstop head. He's going to stretch that single into a double. Sliding in safely to second base is Alex Nelson. No errors on that play, so we're going to give him a hustle double on that. So Alex Nelson stands at second base with the opposing pitcher Griffin Nelson looking to help himself out here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. Swinging strike 1 by Griffin. Griffin, left-handed hitter, left-handed pitcher. Hitting in the 5 spot. Where's number 3? Takes called strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes on Griffin Nelson. 2 outs, runner on second. Alex Nelson waits for opportunity to score. Swinging strike 3. Griffin Nelson goes down fighting, but 3 strikes nonetheless. The Rockies get 1 by a leadoff single by Dawson Noon, and then takes the 3-base error all the way around for the first run of the game. Kempfer flew out. Nice catch by the center fielder. Ottenbacher and Griffin Nelson striking out, leaving Alex Nelson stranded at second base. So your score after 1 complete inning is your Marlins 0, your Rockies 1, and the Marlins due up here in the top half of the second. You know, I try.
Need more Harry Carey euphemisms.
Right. I should have watched that on YouTube all night just to get myself ready.
Did you know the moon is made of cheese? What are you talking about? Craig Olsen would start doing names backwards. Said,
Oh.
Remember when Harry Carey would start, you know, that's Little backwards. Like, come on, man.
I think I'm good for 1 more inning.
All right, Vince, let's go, buddy. Hey, be aggressive there. Let's go.
All right, here we are back with action here at Big Friday, top of the second for the Marlins. Vince Larson steps up to the plate. Takes that pitch high and inside. Buzzes the tower there, does Griffin Nelson, the pitcher here today for the Rockies. Set the Marlins down in order in the top half of the first. Let's see what kind of production we can get here in the top of the second with Larson stepping in. 1 ball, no strikes. Swinging ball up the middle, line drive, bounces off the second baseman's mitt. That ball buzzed the tower right over Griffin Nelson's glove. Would have been a tough play for the second baseman. And Vince Larson is aboard with a single. We're going to mark that as a single because that was a tough play, and we think Vince Larson would have beat it out had the second baseman fielded it cleanly. Bring up the opposing pitcher, Bryce Oster. Oster watches that pitch fly to the outside corner. 1 ball, no strikes. No leading off, no stealing here. Maybe if there's a pass ball, they can advance. We'll pay attention to that detail here. That pitch thrown right down the middle, delayed steal. And a throw down by number 7, Liam Ottenbacher. He guns down Vince Larson. Caught stealing. 2 to 4, 1 out. And Oster's count is now even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Now 2 balls and a strike to Oyster now with 1 out. Nelson looks in. Leg kick, left-hander delivers. That ball just a little high. Oyster looks at that. He's now ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. Oyster steps in and gets hit by that pitch. Ball 4 either way, and Oster will take his base on the hit by pitch. So the Marlins got a runner on here. Vince Larson caught stealing early in the inning. Now we have Liam Erickson, the left fielder, batting with Oster at first. That ball hit him in the heel. 2 hit by pitch. So we have another base runner on. Liam Erickson takes that pitch. He wore it nicely, and now we have runners at first and second. 1 out. Jackson Gerner coming up to the plate for this opportunity now for the Marlins here in the top of the second. Marlins do have a hit in the inning by Vince Larson, but he was retired, caught stealing, and back-to-back hit by pitches now with Oster and Erickson, giving Gerner the opportunity here with 1 out. That ball gets by the catcher, Ottenbacher, and both runners will advance. So now runners in scoring position. That throwback from Ottenbacher got past Nelson, but the runners sit tight here with 1 out in the inning.
What happens if the ball gets stuck under the chair? Is it like dead ball?
We try to keep it.
Okay. Curious. Jackson, step out on a pass ball.
Some clarification of the rules here. We do have a cameraman behind the plate. Want to make sure that cameraman is in play but out of play. And you know, you're always going to run into situations here where you just have to play it by ear. And so we'll play that one by ear. Nelson looks in, the lefty delivers. Swinging strike 2, count should now be full by my calculations. Full count, runners at second and third, 1 out with Gerner at the plate. Drake Smith waits on deck. Gerner ducked that pitch, gets walked. And the bases are full of Marlins here with 1 out in the top of the second. Drake Smith now stepping into the plate. Oh wait, there's no walk. The coach comes in to pitch. I got to get my rules straight. I was a game ahead of myself. So now with the walk, the coach comes in to pitch to Jackson Gerner. Gerner takes a swing. Gerner steps back in. Pitch from the coach. Hits that one on the ground towards second base side. Second baseman fields it cleanly and makes the out, records the out at first base, but a run does score. And Liam Erickson advances to third, and there are 2 outs on the board. Drake Smith now steps up to bat with a runner on third and 2 outs. Smith, the third baseman for the Marlins. I believe that was ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to Smith. 2 outs here, top of the second. Marlins and Rockies tied at 1 apiece. Swinging strike 1, evens the count at 1-1. Erickson looks in from third base. Called, strike 2, right down the middle to Drake Smith. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 1 man on here, top of the second. Pitch from Nelson. Delivery swinging, strike 3. There is no advancing on a drop third strike. That is the third out of the inning. 1 hit, 1 run, 1 man left on base, and your score after 1.5. Rockies 1, Marlins 1, and the Rockies due up here in the bottom half.
Get that run back. Good job.
Take this opportunity here to thank some of our sponsors here for minor league baseball here in the city of Fergus Falls. Of course, we've got the FM Bank Marlins here today, along with the VFW Post 612 Rockies, but other teams and sponsorships here in the minor league. The Mets were sponsored this year by JK Sports. The Phillies were sponsored by Vector Windows. Your Twins sponsored by Denzel's Regional Waste, and the Yankees, Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza, sponsoring the Yankees this year. So special thanks to our sponsors as we are here on Big Friday in Fergus Falls, Minnesota, August 4th, 2023. First time in a long time we've had it here at Grotto Park, but you know what? It's a great day for baseball no matter where you're playing it. Whether you're playing for a championship or just playing in the sandlot with your buddies, you should always have fun while playing the game of baseball. Oster set to pitch now to the leadoff hitter in the inning, number 10, Jack Duffy, steps in for the Rockies. Duffy wears number 10, got a few stars and stripes on the helmet and gloves. Takes ball 1, evens the count at 1 apiece. Rockies had a 1-run lead going into the second, but the Marlins tied that up in the top half of the inning, with the Rockies looking for their opportunity here in the home half of the second. 6-inning ball game, so lots of opportunities to get for both teams as Oster looks in and delivers. Again, fills the zone with strikes. Strike 2 right down the middle. Now Duffy down the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Oster looks in and the delivery. High swinging, strike 3, and Duffy is down swinging on strikes for the first out recorded of the inning. That brings up Waylon Comstock. Comstock steps in, waits the pitch from Oster. Oster delivers. That ball's up in the zone. Comstock shrinks the zone a little shorter than the previous batter. So the pitcher Oster will have to make the adjustment. There it is, strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike to Comstock. 1 out here in the inning. Nobody on for the Rockies offense. Oster looks in, delivers high, swinging, strike 2 for Waylon Comstock. Now down the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Oster fills the zone, but Comstock helped him out a little bit on that one, up in the top of the bill of the cap. There it is, swinging, strike 3, as Oster strikes out the second batter of the inning, and Truman Steinbrenner steps up to the plate. Steinbrenner from a long lineage of great athletes in his family. His dad was a big-time athlete up in Foston, Minnesota. Sure he's here watching today, so shout out to the Steinbrenner Foston family and friends as Truman looks at ball 1, evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike from Oster. 2 outs here in the inning. Steinbrenner looking to start a 2-out rally with nobody on. Swinging, strike 2. So 1 ball, 2 strikes now to the 8-hitter for the Rockies, Truman Steinbrenner. Steinbrenner takes that pitch outside. Ball count now evens 2 balls, 2 strikes. Just missed the corner. One of those 50-50 pitches maybe that you can go either way, and in this case the benefit goes to the batter as Oster steps in, and the pitch right down the middle. Steinbrenner goes down swinging. That's a snapper mow him down inning for the Rockies as the Marlins pitcher Bryce Oster strikes him out in order. And after 2 complete, your Marlins won, Rockies won. Due up for the Marlins in the top half of the third will be Eli Blumberg, and then we're back to the top of the order with Calvin Preston and Jackson Schneeberger. We still good? All right, here we go. We're back with action here in the top of the third inning with the Marlins. 9-hitter Eli Blumberg coming up to bat, the right fielder. We've had a defensive change for the Rockies as the pitcher, Griffin Nelson, has now moved back behind the plate. He's catching. Yes, that's right. We have a left-handed catcher back there. Catcher's mitting all, and Liam Ottenbacher just swapped places with him, and Ottenbacher is now doing the pitching. So Blumberg quickly ahead in the count. 2 balls, no strikes, as Ottenbacher looks to find the zone. There it is, strike 1. 2 balls, 1 strike to Blumberg, as Ottenbacher now looks to settle in. After Blumberg, we do return back to the top of the lineup for the Marlins. High swinging strike for Blumberg, now 2 balls, 2 strikes. As it is in all levels, these hitters oftentimes have a hard time laying off the high fastball because it looks so good coming in there, and then Blumberg goes down looking on a called strike for the first out of the inning, and that brings Calvin Preston, the shortstop, wearing number 3, the leadoff hitter, up to the plate for the Marlins. Calvin falls victim to the high strike as well, swinging through strike 1. Ottenbacher looks into Nelson and delivers the pitch. That one just falls short of the plate, and ball 1. Preston grounded out in his first at-bat, so he's up to the plate now with 0 for 1 on the day. 1 ball, 1 strike here, hitting in the third inning. Swinging, strike 2. And Ottenbacher again gets ahead in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the hitter, Calvin Preston, for the Marlins. Marlins entered the tournament as the 4 seed and battled through the bracket to get to Big Friday as Preston hits that ball back up the middle to the pitcher, and Ottenbacher makes the throw and records the second out of the inning. But as I mentioned, Marlins, they were the 4 seed. Phillies were the 1 seed. Rockies were actually the 2 seed. So in this Big Friday championship game, the Rockies are the high seed, coming in as the 2 seed, with the Marlins edging out the Phillies, the number 1 seed, back on July 31st. Jackson Schneeberger, the hitter now for the Marlins, with nobody on and 2 outs, top of the 3rd inning. Ottenbacher delivers the pitch. Swinging strike. And Schneeberger steps back in. Bright neon colored bat, easy to see from a long ways away. He lays off the high fastball. So we've got a 3-1 count now to Schneeberger with Milo Rosted waiting on deck. Ball 4, so now we will see the coach come in and throw some pitches to the hitter Schneeberger. I believe he gets 3 pitches from the coach. And if he doesn't do anything with those 3 pitches, he will be retired. Ground ball right back up the box to the second baseman, off the glove of the second baseman. And he is safe at first. The first baseman just mishandled the throw for the Rockies. That was number 8 for the Rockies playing first base over there. That's Alex Nelson. Ball just bounced off the heel of his glove, and now the Marlins are in business as Schneeberger reaches on the air. First pitch is ball 1. Now Milo Rosted stepping in. He's the 3 hitter for the Marlins. 2 outs in the inning, runner on first. Rosted out in front of that pitch. A little anxious, looked big coming in, just out in front. 1 ball, 1 strike to Rosted. Schneeberger stands on first. Late swing on that one from Rosted. Made his mind up a little late, fought that pitch off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Still a chance here to do some damage for the number 3 hitter of the Marlins.
Let's go, Milo. Come on.
He watches that pitch skip by the catcher, Nelson, and Schneeberger skips over to second base, now in scoring position in a 2-2 count to Rosted, who's still at the plate with 2 outs in the inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on second, 1-1 ball game. That ball is low off the plate. Runner is advancing again on the ball off the plate. Nelson thinks better of it than to throw the ball out into left field. And now full count to Rosted with Schneeberger on third, 2 outs. Ottenbacher looks in, and the pitch. That's high, but it's up the middle. Ottenbacher fields his position, throws the ball to first base, retires Rosted and the Marlins here in the 3rd inning, stranding 1 runner. So we have no runs on no hits, 1 man left on base. There was 1 Rockies error, and your score after 2.5, Marlins 1, Rockies due up the bat. One pesky fly.
I wonder if I could even.
Number 5 is so Oster's returning to the mound for his 3rd inning of work. Through the first 2 innings, Oster's only given up 1 run. That was the leadoff batter in the 1st inning, Dawson Noon, who led the game off with a single and then advanced all the way to home on an error by the center fielder as the ball found its all the way to the fence. And now for the Rockies here in the bottom of the 3rd, Harrison Grefsrud steps up to the plate. Grefsrud watches strike one as Oster quickly gets ahead, filling the zone with strikes here this afternoon. Swinging, strike two for Harrison Grefsrud, so now quickly down 0-2. As Oster wastes no time stepping in and delivering the pitch. Just a little bit high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's a pitcher's pitch in that count, looking maybe get him to chase something out of the zone. Another pitch, just a little bit high, as Grefsrud now has a count even at 2 balls and 2 strikes from Oster. Oster gets him looking. Grefsrud takes 2 close pitches, doesn't get the break on the third one, and he is retired. A backwards K, strikes out, looking for the first out of the inning. That brings Evan Griffey up to the plate. Griffey swinging through the first pitch from Oster, down the count, no balls, 1 strike. Not a ton of base runners here so far through the first 2.5 innings of play for either team, as both teams demonstrating solid defense and solid pitching, and the hitters looking for opportunities here as Griffey's quickly down in the count. No balls, 2 strikes on that foul ball over the first base dugout. Oster looks in and delivers the pitch. Griffey takes that pitch just a little bit outside. Tried the corner and missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Oster racking up the strikeouts here on Big Friday. And just as on demand, gets a swinging strike 3 on Griffey. And that is now 7 strikeouts for the pitcher for the Marlins here so far today, with 2 outs here in the third. That pitch taken high. We have Noah Schultz up to the plate. He's the 11 batter here for the Rockies here. Rockies hitting 12. And Schultz takes low, ball 2. Oster been pretty solid out there today. Lots of strikes, and then when the ball is in play, he's got a solid defense behind him. That's how you get to Big Friday. Pitching and defense and timely hitting. Both teams waiting for that timely hitting to be a factor here as the game is tied at 1 apiece through 2 2/3. Oster misses the outside corner on that. 3 balls, 1 strike. Schultz waits his pitch. Strike 2. And now the count is full to Noah Schultz with 2 outs here in the bottom half of the third inning on Big Friday in the minor league championship game. And that is strike 3 looking. So Oster, back-to-back innings of 3 strikeouts to 3 batters each inning, as he has retired the last 7 in a row on strikeouts. So Oster having a day today on Big Friday. And now the Marlins offense looking to do some damage as they come back to the plate with their 4, 5, 6 hitters, Larson, Oster, and Erickson due up in the visiting half of the 4th inning. All right, here we are back with action here in the top of the 4th inning in a 1-run ball game on Big Friday in the minor league division of Fergus Falls Park and Rec baseball. The batter for the Marlins, stepping up to plate, number 4 hitter, is Vince Larson as he takes ball 1. Ottenbacher back out on the hill for his 2nd inning of work. Ottenbacher came in relief of Griffin Nelson, who pitched the first 2 innings. And Ottenbacher now facing his 5th batter as he faced 4 in his first inning of work. That ball high but fouled off by Larson. Good hop by the catcher Nelson. As we mentioned, Nelson had started the game pitching and now he is behind the plate. Left-handed catcher. Vince Larson steps in, 1 ball, 1 strike. Swinging miss, strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Both teams looking for opportunities offensively. As we've mentioned, not a ton of base runners here today, as the pitchers from both teams have been throwing strikes and getting out. That ball just over our cameraman. Fouled off, straight back by Vince Larson, hanging in there in a 1 ball, 2 strike count as he and Ottenbacher battle it out here. Ottenbacher in the stretch, delivers. That's low, ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to the hitter Vince Larson. Liam Ottenbacher wears number 7 for the Rockies, right-handed hurler. Stretches and the pitch right down the middle, strike 3 looking. Larson goes down looking, and that is a backwards K in the book. And Bryce Oster, the pitcher for the Marlins, now steps up to the plate looking to help his own cause as the game is all tied up at 1 apiece with 1 out here in the 4th. Takes a look at strike 1. Ottenbacher ahead in the count. No balls, 1 strike. Nobody on for the Marlins here. Oster takes that pitch high, evens the count at 1 apiece.
Hey, wait for yours, Bryce. Let's go.
Baseball is one of those games where there is momentum and sometimes there is none. And you look for a way to spark some energy, and Oster looking to do that here with his opportunity at the plate as he looks at strike 2 from Ottenbacher. Sometimes all it takes is a seeing eye single or a little bleeder to get through, or sometimes a bloop hit to the outfield and the dugout can come alive, and all of a sudden the contagious atmosphere of baseball can go one way or another. And right now the contagious atmosphere is in favor of the pitchers as Oster goes down looking. 2 quick outs here for the Rockies in the top half of the 4th as the Marlins send up their number 6 hitter Liam Erickson, and he quickly swings at strike 1 and he's down the count, no balls, 1 strike. Ottenbacher works quickly, throws that high fastball, swinging strike 2. And Liam Erickson facing Liam Ottenbacher here, no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top 4. It's up high, 1 ball. Erickson does a nice job of laying off the high fastball there. Tough pitch to catch up to. Not a whole lot you can do with it. Lets that one go by. And then Ottenbacher throws that one down in the dirt. It's called strike 3, and that's 3 looking strikeouts for the Marlins there in the top of the 4th. And Ottenbacher does his best Oster impression, striking out the Marlins in order, with the Rockies coming up with their 12 1-2 hitters in the bottom of the 4th in a 1-1 ball game.
So what else do you do for fun?
Pretty much at the ballpark all summer.
Coaching?
Yeah, my 2 sons, I coach their teams, 14U and Junior Legion. And then my oldest son plays for the Canes. He just graduated a year ago, so he plays for Concordia in the spring, and then he's playing for the town ball this summer. So we're going there tomorrow. They play tomorrow night. I guess my next oldest son plays for them too, but he doesn't get to play as much. He's pretty young.
Okay.
Yep, and our daughter plays softball. Fast pitch softball, so We had something every night of the week all summer long up until this week.
How about?
Because we just finished up, our 14-year-old just finished, they had a state tournament in Bemidji last weekend.
But they don't play hockey too?
They all play hockey. I coach football, so that's starting in a week. But we had football pretty much all of June and July, also 2-3 days a week.
I was kidding.
It's fun. Stay busy.
I was going to say, you're busy every night of the week.
So when Pam asked me to do this, I'm like, why not? What else would I do? Another chance to watch baseball. All right, here we go. Bottom of the 4th inning. New pitcher for the Marlins. We will get a number on him. I believe I heard it's Cal, so it's going to be Calvin Preston now doing the pitching duties. So that closes the book on Ottenbacher, who went 3 complete, earning 8 strikeouts. 8 of the 9 outs were recorded via strikeout for Ottenbacher. So pretty solid Big Friday effort from the pitcher Ottenbacher, giving his team a chance to win. Excuse me, I'm saying that backwards. I'm going to fix that. The pitcher for the Marlins was Oster. Bryce Oster got 8 of the 9 outs. Ottenbacher is doing the pitching now for the Rockies. Easy to get these teams mixed up when all these kids are all duded up with their eye black and their sweet baseball digs here. All right, so ball 4 to the batter. That's going to bring in Coach Ottenbacher to pitch to the player, Oliver Blashill. Hope I'm saying that right, Oliver. Oliver Blashill swings at the first pitch from Coach Ottenbacher. So again, that closes the book on Bryce Oster. Ball's hit high in the air towards third base. Third baseman off the heel of his glove. Third baseman, that's number 12, Drake Smith. Smith tracked that ball well. It just hit him in the wrong spot on the glove. He caught him on the heel, bounced out for a fair ball, and the Rockies are in business with the leadoff runner aboard here in the bottom of the 4th. Goes down as an error, and now Oliver will advance to second on the pass ball, and Dawson Noon, the leadoff hitter for the Rockies, steps up to the plate with 1 ball, no strikes. Noon, the lone run of the game for the Rockies, reached on a single, lone hit of the game for the Rockies. He comes to the plate 1 for 1 on the day with a run scored. That pitch is outside off the plate, as Noon now sits at the plate with an RBI opportunity with Blashill standing at second with nobody out here in the 4th. As we mentioned, momentum can shift pretty quickly, and right now the Rockies are in business with nobody out and a runner standing at third base on a wild pitch, and Noon looks at ball 3. I believe it's 3-1 count. Looking for something he can handle. As he clarifies the count, now he steps in, awaits the pitch, and that's high. And Blashill thinks better of it. So Calvin Preston now doing the pitching. Delivers ball 4, so Coach Ottenbacher will come in now to face his player Dawson Noon. So here we are, Rockies up to the plate here. They're in business, nobody out, Noon at the plate, runner on third. Coach pitch now. And that ball's hitting the air to right field. That's going to find the grass and roll for a while. So now Noon's on his way to second, his second hit of the day. He's on his way around second, on his way to third. He might keep going. Coach Noon holds up player Noon at third base, and now he has got a stand-up triple. So Noon on the day has a single and a triple in 2 appearances at the plate, and he has the only 2 hits of the day for the Rockies. And that brings up Charlie Kempfer with another run-in RBI for Noon. And Kempfer now with a chance for an RBI with Noon standing at third. Kempfer flew out to the outfield in his first at-bat. Fly ball, so he has a strong bat, puts the ball to the outfield. Left-handed hitter swinging through that pitch, strike 1. Calvin Preston doing the pitching now. Preston delivers. That ball behind the batter. Now Noon's coming home. There's going to be a play at the plate. He slides The speed of Noon under the throw. The ball is not retrieved cleanly by Calvin Preston, and another run across. So the Rockies got 2 in already here in the bottom half of the 4th inning with nobody out and Kempfer still staying at the plate. Calvin Preston delivers the pitch. That's high, just a bit outside. Preston just looking to find the strike zone here. Hot, humid day, picks up a little dirt. Wind up and the delivery. Just loses that one high and outside, ball 4. So Coach Ottenbacher back in to throw to the hitter, Kempfer, here with nobody out in the bottom of the 4th. Kempfer waits the pitch and follows that pitch down the third baseline off the fence, foul ball. He gets 3 pitches from the coach. I think regardless of where those pitches are, you get 3. That's just me assuming based on what I've seen so far here today. So a little bit of Ionis on the coach here. So Ottenbacher, second Ottenbacher to pitch today. And there it is, throws that one into the strike zone, and that ball is scalded out into left center field. Solid single by Kempfer. And Kempfer is aboard with nobody out, and 2 runs already in, and Liam Ottenbacher stepping up to the plate. Nobody out, 1 on. Ottenbacher, the number 3 hitter, steps up to the plate. The outfield for the Marlins gets reset. And there's a swinging foul ball by Ottenbacher as Calvin Preston starts to find the strike zone here a little bit. Shaking the jitters out maybe a little bit. Big Friday, a little bit of pressure. Got TV cameras, lots of fans. It's a big day in Fergus Falls baseball when you get to make it all the way to Big Friday, and then you get a chance to play in front of your peers, family, and you know the outfield is even full of fans here at Grotto Park today. So fun day of baseball here at Grotto Park as the runner Kempfer advances to second on that wild pitch. So you got a runner in scoring position, still nobody out for the Rockies here in the bottom of the 4th. That ball scalded up the middle, solid single for Ottenbacher. And it's an RBI single as Kempfer comes all the way around to score. And Ottenbacher with a single standing at first base with Alex Nelson up to the plate. So inning started with an error by the Marlins in the field, and then Noon, Kempfer, and Ottenbacher go back to back with 3 straight hits. A triple by Noon, a single by Kempfer, and a single by Ottenbacher, and the Rockies are in business. That pitch just a little bit high to Nelson as Ottenbacher now stands on second. Nelson waits the pitch. Swing, strike 1, evens count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Healthy cut there by Nelson. If he squares one up, it could roll for a while. We've mentioned the playing conditions. Been a dry summer, so the ground's a little hard. The ball doesn't really slow down in the outfield grass. Heads up play by Ottenbacher. Catcher for the Marlins had a hard time retrieving that ball, and Ottenbacher scampers to third and now stands at third base with nobody out in the inning and 3 runs already in, with the Rockies leading 4-1. So ball 4, which brings Coach Ottenbacher back to the mound. He's going to throw to Alex Nelson here with a runner on third. Nelson waits the pitch. Ground ball to second base. Oh, just off the foot of the second baseman. And that bounces all the way to the right field fence. Nelson's rounding second on his way to third. Now he's being waved around third. He's coming all the way into home. The relay throw not going to be in time. And Nelson with the RBI in the park home run. Tough play for the second baseman, and then once it bounced off the second baseman's foot, it went all the way to the right field fence. Not really a good chance for the outfield to get that ball in time with the speed of Alex Nelson. So that's 5 runs now on the inning, and Griffin Nelson stands at the plate. Left-handed swinging Griffin Nelson, number 3, began the game pitching. Now he's catching, and right now he's up to bat with nobody on and nobody out in the bottom of the 4th. Nelson waits the pitch from Calvin Preston. Takes that pitch high and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Count even up. Calvin looking to settle in out there. Nelson just a little bit tardy on that swing. 2 strikes now on the batter. Possibly 2-2 count. That ball fades away. Nelson waits a pitch from Preston. Looks for something he can handle here. That ball high and outside. Now the count is full. Okay, we got that straightened out. Full count, so it's either a hit, an out, or the coach will come in to pitch. And that ball's fouled off, so he corrected me because it could have been a foul ball, which we just got a foul ball as Griffin hangs in there, Griffin Nelson, in a full count. Left-handed batter, hit that ball squarely down the third baseline, and he looks at strike 3. So Nelson with the strikeout records the first out of the inning, and Jack Duffy steps up to the plate with nobody on. 1 out, bottom 4, and the Rockies lead 6-1. 5 runs in the inning for the Rockies. Like we said, it started with an error. Oliver Blashill reached on an error, pop-up, dropped by the third baseman. He came all the way to around to score on a triple by Dawson Noon, and then singles by Kempfer and Ottenbacher, and the home run by Alex Nelson, plating 5 runs here in the inning. Strike 2 now to Duffy. Duffy quickly behind the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Fouls that one off, battling up there. Duffy, good looking ball player, good batting stance, has his hands in a good spot, waiting for the pitch. There it is, right on cue, solid single over the left side as number 10 for the Rockies, Jack Duffy, hits a single, takes a big turn at first, watches the relay, and settles in safely with that single. 5 hits on the inning now for the Rockies as Waylon Comstock steps up to the plate with Duffy standing at first. 1 out, Comstock waits the pitch. Calvin Preston misses just a little bit high on that pitch, 1 ball. Duffy stands at first. 1 out in the inning. 5 runs already in. Delayed steal by Duffy, and he stands safely at second base. So runners can't steal on the pitch. They have to wait for the catcher to catch the ball. And once the catcher caught the ball, Duffy hesitated a little bit more and then took off, kind of sending the Marlins into a little bit of a confusion mode, and he advances to second base on the stolen base. Calvin right around the strike zone, just having a hard time dialing it up consistently right down the middle. A little hesitation in the delivery there. Changes things up a little bit. 3 balls, 1 strike to Waylon Comstock, who struck out in his first at-bat. So Calvin misses on that pitch, and Duffy trots over to third. Now we'll see Coach Ottenbacher come in, and he will pitch to Waylon Comstock, who's got 3 chances to put one in play, with Duffy standing at third and 1 out here in the inning. 5 runs already in for the Rockies. Pop fly hits the first base side. First baseman wisely lets that one spin foul, and Comstock will have to come back and do it all over again. Pop fly, lots of spin on it, bounced about 7 feet in front of first base, maybe 12 feet in front of first base, and it spun foul, and Comstock gets another chance. Pitch from Coach Ottenbacher, fouled that one off. Now he's down to his last pitch. Again, a little pressure on the coach maybe in these situations. They got to put something in the realm where the batter can put it in play, because there is no more taking a pitch. There it is, fouled back. And a foul ball does register an out in that situation.
Are you going to talk about this one?
So now we got a pitching change. What a great time for Pam Mugsfeld to stop by the broadcast booth here. And Pam Mugsfeld, why don't you grab a seat and help us understand how we got here today. Tell us a little bit about the, first of all, the field conditions over at Broadway Park. What's going on over there? We heard the Skunks and the Raccoons. That's not 2 minor league teams?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Those are like real critters.
Real critters. So what did they do to our field over there?
Well, they were a little hungry, and the grubs were being a little bit full over there, so they were going to try and lessen them out. So they tore it up, and they were going to do a little landscaping. So they tore it up, and it would just made it unfair. unsafe for the kids at this level, especially when they do play more in the outfield and they're running for the ball. We don't need them watching for the ball and not look down and take a divot or a hole, and those type of things. T-ball and toss, you've probably been safe because they're not out in the field a lot, but you don't want somebody getting hurt on the final day of the year.
No, and you know what, the way these fans can get sometimes, you don't want any more excuses for anything that can go wrong. So as Truman Steinbrenner steps in for the Rockies, we talked about his lineage. His dad played ball up in Fosston, Minnesota, so Truman in his second at bat here today. But so how many kids did you have play park and rec ball this summer, roughly?
Roughly had about 100 and, probably pushing 400 between our rookies, T-ball and toss, where our strongest numbers are. Through our minors and our major levels, we were able to field 6 teams here with about 70 kids, and then at the majors level we field 5 teams with about 60, 65 kids. So those numbers dwindle a bit because some of the traveling team opportunities for some of the kids, and some kids by this age are busy with other sports and stuff going on, so they just play at the younger levels when they can play during the day and opt out of it now when they play in the evenings.
Well, it's always fun to see the kids get a chance to come out and play at whatever level that they seem to be appropriate, whether they're playing travel ball or what I like to say is the good old days of park and rec ball, because it's good old-fashioned baseball, whether it's sandlot ball, organized ball, travel ball. If you're playing baseball, you're having fun, hopefully doing something
and
that
it is, and it's
lifelong sport.
It's fun to see the activity going on in the parks, just to see the kids out doing stuff and being busy. Being a team, whether they're winning or losing, they're learning different skills also at this time. And some of them will go on and continue all the way up, and some will just, this is for fun. Park and rec program, at least we offer it for kids, and everybody gets to play and have an opportunity.
Well, it's been great. How did the summer weather treat you this summer for park and rec ball in the mornings and then your evening games?
Our morning games, we only had 1 rain out. So that's pretty good for a season. And our evening games, I think we canceled once earlier for our minors, I think it was. And then Tuesday night, Majors game got postponed due to the rain that moved in here Tuesday night. So,
sure.
And we made that game up last night because the winner of that game had to play today. So.
Well, right down to the wire then.
It was.
If it would have rained last night, would you have to play a play-in game today then, or how would that have worked?
Rock, paper, scissors?
Rock, paper, scissors, or coin flip,
or
whichever.
Coin flip or something we would have had to do.
Arm wrestle, one of those things.
Yeah. Nobody wants to do that. You probably would have looked at the bracket as a head-to-head type of a thing for somebody to do it. Nobody wants to do it that way.
Yeah.
But it worked, and those type of things. And every year it's always a different little situation that you get. And nobody wants to play that third game for the week just because of their pitching counts at this level. And same with the majors, they can only do so many in a game and so many in a week. So
sure.
Adding a third game in there.
So that comes into effect for sure when you're playing games back-to-back days or within the same week. It certainly can have an impact. It's good to know that they've got some safety regulations in there so these kids don't overdo it, or
yep.
Coaches don't put a kid in a tough situation without knowing they need to keep track of that stuff. So
yeah, and our coaches this year have been amazing with all the kids. They all coach in a different fashion, but their overall thing is to make sure the kids are learning something, having fun, and being competitive. Any of the teams could have went on to Big Friday.
Sure.
And that's what you want to see at the end of it.
Right. As we look through the brackets, yeah, lots of runs were scored, and looks like fairly competitive ball games all the way through, especially in some of those younger levels. 1-run ball games. I heard an extra inning game for one of the teams, or 2 of the teams, obviously. So yeah, that's a good time.
Yeah, and when you can have a toss game like this morning that went 18-16, usually your toss games are much higher scoring.
Right.
I've seen them in the 30s,
Yeah.
And so to keep it down there, that they're also playing defense on that side of it too. So
you've had a few years to look at the setup here for the minors with no pitching machine anymore, and players and coaches pitching in certain situations. How's that worked out for Park and Rec?
It's been a good transition, and it came about a few years ago when we altered our age groups in a little bit to try hold on to some of our advanced ages, like this minors level here and the ponies or the majors. It used to be at this age you were 10 and 11, and then the majors were 12 to 14. And then when we lowered everything down by year, we added that extra year onto the majors, just because there's not as many kids at those levels, but there's kids that just want to come out and play summer ball.
Right.
And so we want them to do something. And then we took away the pitching machines 3 years ago because they were either a struggle or they went well. You never know what kind of night you're going to get. So I was running battery packs or different things going around, and then you had the traveling teams kind of dipping down into the lower levels that weren't using pitching machines. So then why don't we just take that initiative step 2? And we knew it would be a transition year. And then we just want the games rolling at this level. And since we're not playing like for state tournaments and those type of things, we let the coaches come in and pitch and let the game get moving.
Right.
Otherwise, it's a lot of walks, and nobody wants to play with a lot of walks.
Right. Well, it seems to be working really well. You know, the 3 years now that I've done this, and you know, from a fan standpoint, a coach's standpoint, love to see more pitching being developed where sometimes kids have to struggle through an inning or, you know, figure out how to find the strike zone. But once they've learned how to do that, it's something that they can apply in future opportunities. So.
Right. And like we tell the kids, and they're starting off because they're kind of nervous about it. And, you know, it's no different than standing in the batter's box and watching the first pitch come at you versus a toss ball. You're going to develop your accuracy, the strength will come.
Right.
You know, you're going to get stronger as you keep getting them in there. But you got to take the first initiative first.
Right.
And some kid that you may never think is going to be a pitcher, this might give them the opportunity to try it before it gets to be more of an intense game.
Sure. Well, you know, speaking from that standpoint, there have been a lot of strikeouts in today's game, so the pitchers are throwing strikes. The last 6 outs either way have been strikeouts for both teams. So
Right.
Lots of kids getting hacks in there, but pitchers throwing strikes in the zone. And when the coaches come in and throw it in there, you know, it's an opportunity to get through things a little bit quicker. So
And
it
it
seems to
is.
work well.
And I think that transition's been well. And then we worked with the coaches through that thing because the first few games were a little rough when we did transition into full-time pitching, and we didn't have the numbers and we didn't know who was all pitchers. Because you try to do a tryout, but in that time of the year, tryouts are really tough to try and accomplish because you don't always have those abilities to really rate the kids. Depends on what your winter is. They may not even put their glove on yet till they get there.
Right.
The last 2 years we've gotten rained out, and field conditions have not allowed us to be out there for any tryouts. So we've just kind of drafted our teams off of ratings from the coaches from the previous year, which helps a lot. And basically, I think that they've drafted their teams pretty fairly.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
No.
And it's worked out well. So we'll see which direction we continue to go. I know we'll continue with the draft process. It's just a matter of if we end up having to do the tryouts or not. It's a lot of work and different things to do to set up the tryouts. When you get, you know, of 70 kids, you maybe get 40 out there. You're not going to get a true tryout
Right.
anyhow. So everyone's going to put on a team one way or the other. So that's
Sure.
the best part.
Well, with that, in that respect, we've got a new pitcher for the Marlins coming out there. It's Milo Rosted coming in to pitch their third pitcher of the day. So good mixing up by the coaches there, 2 innings per pitcher so far. Anything else you want to share with us, Pam?
Not a lot, just, you know, always recruiting on the umpires end, the coaches end, and, you know, things of that sort. And I've had a few parents step up this year that probably didn't anticipate coaching, but we were short once we had enough kids to make another team and things of that sort, that absolutely loved it and wish they did it sooner, you know.
Sure.
So it doesn't have to be a parent. You just have the love of the game. You can come out and coach. We've got a grandpa coaching his grandson's team, you know, so we've seen all kinds of different things. People want to help, get involved, you know, just give us a call. We'd love to get you involved with it in one way or another.
Well, perfect. Well, we appreciate all the time and energy that you put into the youth activities here in Fergus Falls and putting this all together on another big Friday here, making some last-minute changes due to the skunks and the raccoons, not the minor league teams. So
We're just turning back the clock a bit when Big Friday used to be up here.
yeah, maybe someday we'll have to have throwback night and have it under the lights again sometime.
Yeah, I don't know if the lights work, but we could check.
Yeah, we'll figure it out,
Yeah.
right? That's all fun.
But yeah, no, it just gets to be fun. It's fun to see all the extra people come out to the ball games. You know, whether it's neighbors, friends, parents, all kinds of different people that you normally don't see at the ball fields that don't even have kids. People that come out and watch it because their kids came through it at one time.
Sure.
You know.
Well, you got another great crowd today. You got a nice breeze up here on the hill at Grotto Park.
Yeah.
Fans in the outfield and
Better than I
down
thought
both
it would
first
be.
base and third base lines, so it's perfect. Couldn't ask for a better day.
Yeah, I thought it would be much more miserable up here, but it's been actually pretty pleasant.
Pretty nice. Have to plant more trees closer to the field, I suppose.
And less geese.
Right, right. Well, that's Pam Mugsfeld, everybody, from the Fergus Falls City of Fergus Falls Park and Rec. Thanks, Pam, and maybe we'll check up with you later.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you guys for being here.
You bet. So as we mentioned, we got Milo Rosted pitching, and we had a leadoff single, we're going to call it, for our Harrison Gressfruit, who's standing on second base. And the batter just struck out, and he confirms that with the umpire, Ethan Schwartz. Now we're going to have a conversation out on the field, making sure the pitcher's at the right spot on the rubber there. It's hard to see. Milo Rosted stepping in out there. Ethan Schwartz, one of those umpires that we talked about, doing a nice job here on Big Friday. Stickler for the rules. Like to see that spirit in an umpire. And I believe this is Noah Schultz up now to the plate for the Rockies. Schultz struck out at his first at-bat, swinging, and now he steps up to the plate with 1 out and 1 runner on second base, and that's Harrison Gressfruit. Gressfruit got on base, hit a hard ground ball towards the shortstop, took a tough hop there, so he's credited with a hit in that at-bat. As the Rockies here in the bottom of the 5th inning hold on to a 6-1 lead over the Marlins, who have not scored since the 2nd inning quite a while back. Another good pitch there by Milo Rosted. 2 strikes on the batter now to Noah Schultz. That ball low and away. I believe a full count now on the batter, so it's either base hit, out, foul ball, or coach comes in. Looks like, ooh, that's called a strike. So strike 3 it is to Noah Schultz. He goes down looking. Tough pitch to hit there, but definitely something you want to take a hack at if you got 2 strikes in the count. And that brings up Oliver Blashill, who got the big inning going back an inning ago. He led off the inning with a solid ground ball that did drop, or excuse me, a pop fly that landed as an error, but came around to score as the Rockies strung together a few hits and put up the crooked number. And that was all started when Oliver Blashill put the ball in play. Now, different situation. 2 outs, runner on third as Blashill steps in. Swinging, strike 2. Strike 3, excuse me, that's it. Runner stranded on third, so no runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. And your score after 5 complete innings here on Big Friday at Grotto Park, your Rockies 6, Marlins 1. Take another opportunity to recognize the sponsors of these and our other teams. The Rockies here boasting the lead right now going into last inning are sponsored by VFW Post 612. And the Marlins coming up to the plate here in the top half of the 6th, their last chance to do some damage here, are sponsored by FM Bank. Special thanks to coaches Bill Nelson and Craig Ottenbacher of the Rockies, and coaches Dallas Rosted and Nick Preston of the Marlins. Other team sponsors here at this level in the minor leagues: the Mets were sponsored by JK Sports, Phillies Vector Windows, Twins Denzel's Regional Waste, and the Yankees sponsored by Papa Murphy's Take and Bake Pizza. So here we are, final round for the Marlins as they trail here in this Big Friday championship game, 6-1, and they will come up to the bat here in the top of the 6th with their top of the order due up to bat. So right where they want to be batting order wise, and now can they get through the pitching and the defense of the Rockies. Rockies pitcher number 6, Charlie Kempfer, he came in an inning ago, and he is back out now to do some business in the top half of the 6th. Kempfer struck out the side in the top of the 5th, striking out Gerner, Smith, and Blumberg. That was taking place during the interview with Miss Pam Mugsfeld from the city of Fergus Falls. Not a ton of action there offensively, but did want to make sure we reference the inning of work there done by Kempfer, who now steps in to face the top of the order, the leadoff hitter number 3, Calvin Preston. Defense gets set behind Kempfer, and he's set to pitch. That first pitch attacked by Calvin Preston, swinging foul ball, strike 1 is the count, and Kempfer settles in. He looks the part out there. He has got the reflective sunglasses on, he's got the hair flowing in the wind, and he is ready to go. Foul tips, swinging strike 2 to Calvin Preston now, who's going to have to battle through this at bat. The Rockies just 3 outs away from celebrating Big Friday championship right here at Grotto Park. Beautiful day for baseball. 84 degrees, sunny and breezy. Couldn't get any better. 82 degrees, my mistake there. I'm a stickler for the details. Either way, it's a beautiful day. 1 ball, 2 strikes to the batter, Preston. Kempfer delivers. That ball, foul ball, hot shot down the first base line. Preston a little tardy on that swing, but does a nice job fighting it off, giving himself another chance here. Preston 0 for 2 on the day. 2 ground ball outs. Retired in his first 2 at-bats in the first and third inning. Steps in again here in the 6th. Kempfer looks in. Works out of the windup. Calvin Preston waits at the plate. That ball just inside. So Preston waiting his opportunity here. He's trying to get the inning going for the Marlins. They have not had a lot of activity on the base paths here on Big Friday, as they've only had a handful of base runners. As we look back through the box score here, they had a base runner in the first inning, 2 base runners in the second inning, 1 scored and 1 stranded, and 1 base runner in the third, and not a base runner has reached base since the third inning. So, and Preston called out on strikes looking, and he is now the first victim of the inning and the first victim for the pitcher, Kempfer. Jackson Schneeberger steps in with 1 out here in the 6th. Schneeberger takes a look at strike 1 as Kempfer starts to settle in now, fill in the zone of strikes. Kempfer works quickly, the delivery and the pitch. That one's low, bounce in front of the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marlins just need a base runner at this point. Something to put a little pressure on the defense. Maybe spark a rally here. That ball's high. Schneeberger fought off that attempt to swing there. He was tempted, but resisted the urge, and now he's ahead 2 balls, 1 strike in the count from Kempfer. That ball catches the corner, 2 balls, 2 strikes now.
There you go. Let's hit the ball. Let's hit the ball. Let's go.
Schneeberger waits the pitch. 2-2 count, 1 out, top 6. 6-1 score, Rockies. Now the count is full. So we'll see what Schneeberger can do with this pitch. Again, the Marlins just need a base runner here. Something to spark their offense, maybe give their dugout a little momentum. Rockies hoping just to keep this thing rolling and get through it quickly. Half swing there, fought that pitch off, fall down first base side. So Schneeberger keeps his at-bat alive. Another great crowd here today on Big Friday. Sometimes when you're at Broadway Park, it's hard to tell how many people are there, but here at Grotto with everybody up on the hill, healthy crowd here. Healthy crowd. It's fun to see all these people come out and support Fergus Falls youth baseball players here in the Fergus Falls area. And now Schneeberger gets a chance to face the coach with 3 straight opportunities from the coach to throw strikes here. There it is, ball's in play, hits the shortstop, charges the ball nicely, and he is called out at first base. Close bang bang play, and the umpire, Brandon Brown, called him out at first base. That is 2 outs, and Milo Rosted, the last hope for the Marlins, steps up to the plate. Milo, 0 for 2 on the day. Ground ball to second and a ground ball to the pitcher in his 2 at-bats, and he took that pitch right on the number 2 in the middle of his back, and Rosted is a base with a hit by pitch. And that's all the Marlins needed, was a base runner just to have a little bit of life. We'll see what Vince Larson can do about that. Larson steps in. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Reached on an error. Nope, excuse me. He's 1 for 2 on the day. Had a single at lead off the second inning, caught stealing, and then struck out looking in his last at bat. So Larson at the plate with a runner on first. Marlins down by 5. Need to try to keep this thing alive. And that is it. That ends the hopes for the Marlins. The Rockies did it. They win Big Friday by a final score of 6-5, and your Rockies are your minor league Big Friday champions. As Milo Rosted strikes out Vince Larson to end the game, and the Marlins will take home the runner-up trophy here this year as the Rockies are crowned the champion. Big Friday, Fergus Falls. You might watch the Little League World Series, you might watch the high school state tournament, you might go to the College World Series, but in Big Friday in Fergus Falls, this is what it's all about. So congratulations to both the Marlins and the Rockies for great baseball seasons, great summers of baseball, and your Rockies are your Big Friday minor champions.
What was the final score?
6-1.
6-1.
Congratulations to both teams. Championship game going to the Rockies over the Marlins with a final score of 6-1. Coaches will talk with their teams and we'll come out onto the line. We'll hand them their medals. And then after that, we will go out to the field and take pictures under the banners as they prep the field for the next game.
Good job, Marlon.
Good job, Marlon. All right, guys. Nice job. Second is good. Planning on drinking it. Hello.
Hey, buddy.
One more game.
One more to go. It's going fast.
It's already 1:25.
I know.
Hey, Jimmy.
How'd that go?
Pretty good.
Not too bad? You may be getting cooked out there.
It was a little hot. I didn't even